Good day. Welcome back to my channel. So this is the last installment of the Su25 Ukrainian markings, the Zvezda build. In this one, I'm going to go through the last bit of the assembly and then the painting, weathering, and the final images. This video is a little bit long. I did kind of go into some of the thought process that I have on what I was choosing for the paint and how I handled some of the painting. It wasn't just, mask and spray. There was some other thought process there. So now I'll walk through all that. So this one is a bit long, so I'll put jump. Good day. Welcome back to my channel. So here is the final installment of the Su25 in Ukrainian markings. It's been a fun little ride. This video is a bit long. Good day and welcome back to my channel. So this is the final installment of the Su25 in Ukrainian markings, 148 from Zvezda. This was a very entertaining build. In this video, I'm going to walk through essentially the painting, the choices for the paint scheme, what I did, and then how I handled the different techniques for doing the painting for this particular aircraft. I do waffle on a lot in this one, so this video is a bit long. I'll put incremental marks down below. So go ahead, grab yourself a cuppa, and go ahead and let's get cranked in. If anybody has any suggestions or whatever down, while you're watching, please feel free to put them down below. Just ask, keep them respectful, and enjoy. Here we go. All right, now I gotta start thinking about painting. So we've gotten all of the detail pieces and all the wings are on, all that done. Tailplane's done. Detail pieces are in. Now, as I start looking at what's to go, we have these doors. We have the landing gear. And then the, come on, what's the word? We've got these little detail parts. So like this antenna, the handle, and then canopy, and that's it really. And then these probes. So where I am at this point is these. I think what I need to do is that door has to get put on with PVA so I can take it off. This door can actually go on, so this door is going to go on. I'm not going to have that ladder down. I'm going to use this ladder. Go ahead and put the canopy on, right? So what I need to do is mask the canopy, put the canopy on, get these detail pieces. Here we go. Get these detail pieces, put on the canopy. And then paint and start with basically the underpaint. So I've got to paint the gear, the tires, and then I can actually start painting the actual canopy, or the actual aircraft. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the detail pieces from here put on and then just get going. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so I have this now to the base. Well, so we're primed. The majority of the assembly is done. I've done the assembly of just about all of the ordnance. I've gone through. I have not put these detail pieces on the canopy because there's going to be masking. I'm going to break them. I've built the that one probe. That was a bit of a pain, but not impossible, right? It was just a little annoying. I have that built. Both of those probes that go out the front are here. I'm again for the purposes of masking and dealing with masks, decided not to put them on just yet. Anyway, I've given it a base of gray, and essentially what I've decided to do is I have chosen the paint scheme and this one. So it's a gray underneath, that lightish sky gray, and then this tan and very colored camouflage over the top. Now this is one that looks to be the same one. Let's see, this one is number 12. Let's see if this tells me about number 12. Doesn't tell me about number 12. This doesn't tell me about number 12, but that's what I've noticed is the Ukrainian ones are the ones that have blue. And looking at this, it looks like, I mean, the paint jobs on these just look so, it's like, let's throw something on there. It almost looks like, the old Soviet whitewash from World War II, where they just were slapping paint on and going. But there's chips all over the place. It's worn through. So this is going to be heavily weathered. And like here, it looks like they painted over other numbers to put the blue on. And it looks like that's consistent for a lot of the Ukrainian. So I'm going to do that. Essentially what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this and mask the bottom, right? So I'm going to mask the bottom according to that general look so that the gray for underneath stays that. And then I'm going to start layering up the top in different colors. So like I'll hit the top of the tail in a green. But what I think I want to do is hit it with hairspray first and then chip. I'm not sure, and this is the thing is, I'm not a fan of hairspray chipping, but this gives a lot of large parts, large chip parts, if that makes sense, if you follow what I mean. So I think I will do it on the tail and on a couple other spots so I can fade it. But then we're going to be doing a couple of different colors. So I'm going to go ahead and get cracked in on that with essentially that as what I'm going to do. I just realized. So let's go ahead and get into that. All right, so not that much done. Just a rough little bit of camo, extra stuff put on, sort of haphazard. I'm going to go back and do chipping, but the other thing I want to do before I do that is this. So let me put this here, put that there. Is this here, it's got that, basically it looks like they painted over, I mentioned this before, it looks like they painted over another number to put that number on. So what I want to do is basically make a little mask to put on there just so I can quick brush. And I'm not going to use my airbrush because I'm fighting with this stupid thing. So I'm going to essentially paint that like a dry brush and put that over a mask, and then I'll put that on. So I'm going to go do that now. And then what I think I'm going to do is see about just sort of dry brushing some different colors into here to mark the fading. But before I do that, I think once I get this down, I'll put on the transfers. And then once the transfers are on, then I'll start going into doing the chipping and weathering. So let me go ahead and do that. So the first thing I had to do was to make the mask, to just go ahead and give the that painted over splotch. You can see that I just sort of guessed at it. Now, yes, I could have freehanded the edges, but I feel like if I had done that, it would not have, I would have gotten brush strokes, and that's what I was trying to avoid. So what I'm doing here is I am essentially doing a dry brush technique. Yes, I'm getting a good bit of paint on and sort of dab painting, but the brushes are drier than normal, so they're going on in a smooth, even, almost give something like an airbrush sort of look. And the technique I picked up from doing miniature gaming, and it actually gives me that nice even as if it was airbrushed look that I was after. Um, and there, that gave me what I needed to go ahead. Now I can put the transfers on it and then get cracking in. Okay, got the transfers on. Gonna let them cure up and then hit the overall vehicle with sealer, and then we'll start the weathering process. So this is the one I'm picking to sort of represent is chipped all the heck. All right, so this is kind of where I'm going. Right. It's beat up, it's chipped, it's a mess, and I really like how worn the paint is. Right, you can see some really good examples of, like right here, how just the different layers of wear and whatever. And this is going to be different kinds of fun weathering techniques. I'm actually really looking forward to getting into. So it's going to, that's where I'm going to go with this. We'll get cracked into it. But yeah, I also have the ordinance sort of put out there. I haven't figured out exactly which of these I'm going to go with. Again, I've seen a lot of these pictures here have, here's an example, right? So right on the cover, you see different camo patterns and paint patterns, like even on the same aircraft. Now this one's a Russian one, but the same with the Ukrainian. They're very similar. You see a lot of different paint patterns on these. So I've intentionally gone with that. Just mixing it up. These also need to have their transfers put on, so that's something else I need to do, and I'll get to that probably as I'm fiddling with different, when I hit a point where this needs to dry. So we'll go ahead and get cracked into that stuff and move on. All right, so I have it pretty well where I want to go. Time to start the weathering. Couple things before I get to it. The transfers I got went on pretty well. Not seeing much silvering, so it looks like that's going to go. The front gear, these are a royal pain in the backside. So there's a pivot point here, there's a lock point here, and a lock point here, and they are not enough. They are absolutely not enough. I ended up having to use CA glue. I did end up unmasking everything, right? So we've unmasked this, and it's now time to start this. I'm going to go ahead and take off. It's got that. It's basically, I am going to display it like this because I painted it with black first. I have the black inside, which is good, at least for me. I think it's supposed to be green or blue, but I'm going to end up gluing this open so that we can see it like that. But now it's time to start the weathering. And the weathering is, I think I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way up. And just, I'm going to play, right? I'm going to play. Essentially, working with this, a whole bunch of chipping wear. I think one of the other things I'm going to do is I'm going to use chipping. I think what I'd like to do is use chipping technique, like the sponge technique, to give a look of layered color. Let me see if I can find the other picture, and I forgot to mark it. But essentially doing layered color. Oh wait, that was it. Is that it? No, I lost it. Anyway, I'll find it. But essentially doing layered, there we go. See how there's different layers of color up here. So using the chipping technique and the sponge technique to overlay different colors to give the same kind of look. And you see I kind of started right here. And that's kind of what I want to work around. So I'm going to go around, chip all the way around, especially around the front, around the nozzles, all the places, all the leading edges that would get that. Need to paint the gun, that's what I'm looking for here, gun port. and then you just kind of go to town there. I did get the transfers on for all of the pods that I'm going to have on here, and I'm going to go ahead and weather these before I put them on, just for obvious reasons, because it's easier to do that and then go. So that's where I'm going. Let's go get to it. All right, so we're on the messy bench, and sooner or later I'm going to figure out how to film this right. But essentially what I am doing here is I am using acrylics. And again, this is a technique I learned doing miniature, gaming miniature painting. And it's basically a damp brush. It's like a dry brush. You're doing a stippling and almost, not quite getting your brush as dry as a dry brush. But then you go back and you smear it just before it dries, and it really softens the edges, and it gives an overall look that's faded, worn. The colors blend, and it's kind of a dry blending. I think they call if everything was wet, this would be a whole lot easier. I could just do a bunch of wet blending, and that's what oil paints do. But this is doing it as a dry blend, and then the next step is to go back and do like chipping using using sponge, and then like here, just going back and layering color after color, and the colors are damp, and so they flow together well. And then by doing that, it really gives me the look I want. So once I got to this point, then I was able to just go ahead and just hit it with the weathers, and I didn't do much. I just hit it with the Starship Filth, and that really gave me the look that I was hunting for. And with that, we're gonna call this one done. So doing the oils was a lot less than I had anticipated. Just going through doing the panel wash or the panel markings ended up giving it exactly what I wanted. It's a lot dirtier just from that. I didn't have to go back. I thought I was going to need to do a bunch more shading and others, but I didn't, just from what I've done with the dry brushing. And then with the oils, it got it to look as filthy as I was after. I see things, again, just like with every model I do, I see things that I can do better, and I see things that make me happy. I like the way the markings came out on the tail. I like the way the cockpit came out. I like the overall look of it. It came together faster and better than I anticipated. I struggled with the landing gear, so the landing gear was difficult. I struggled with a couple of the other things, like some of the ordinance, but for the most part, the kit, the Zvezda kit's a really, really nice kit. It really goes together well, and I like it a lot. As I look up into the cockpit, there's probably things more I could do for the canopy, but that's going further than I wanted to go. I did end up struggling a good bit with getting some of that squared away, but I really like this aircraft. Again, trying to duplicate or come close to duplicating the coloring and the style of that particular one. Is it exact? No, but it's nice. It's close, and I'm kind of happy with the way I was able to get it. Like I said, again, I see a lot of things that I could do differently or better, and that's what each and every model is. It's practice, but this was fun. This is going to sit next to my A10, so I really like this kind of an aircraft, this close air support kind of thing, where it's a beast, right? Again, I grew up looking at it, right near where the A10s were, and then this is the Russian Soviet bloc version of it. And I just like the resiliency of it. I like the aircraft. I like the design of it. It just has that low and mean look that is pretty cool. And again, being able to do the weathering and the painting and the fading on this thing was a joy. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I will go ahead and as always, I will put pictures up at the end here of this as it's done. Move on to the next project. I hope that watching me fumble around and figure my way through this was something entertaining. And if you're interested in this kit from Zvezda, I really do recommend it. It's scary here. Stick it in the background. It's that one. It's a 1/48 scale from Zvezda, but yeah, good kit. With that said, thank you very much for watching. Hope this was entertaining. Enjoy the pictures, and until next time, happy modeling.